A study finds that some ChatGPT power users show signs of addiction. Leadership changes at OpenAI and X signal strategic shifts in the tech industry. Google releases Gemini 2.5 Pro, their most powerful reasoning model, and the Canadian governments are reassessing their reliance on Starlink for critical services amid sovereignty concerns. Welcome to #Trending. I'm your host, Jim Love. Let's get into it. A new study by OpenAI and the MIT Media Lab has found that heavy users of ChatGPT are showing signs of emotional dependence, and in some cases, symptoms resembling addiction. The study surveyed thousands of users and identified a small group of power users who spent long periods interacting with the chatbot. Among this group, researchers noted behaviors such as preoccupation, mood changes, withdrawal symptoms, and a loss of control, key indicators of problematic use. Interestingly, users who interacted with ChatGPT using only text were more emotionally expressive than those using voice. Brief interactions through voice were linked to better emotional outcomes. Another surprising finding: users who engaged with the chatbot for personal reasons, discussing emotions or memories, were less likely to become emotionally dependent than those using it for tasks like brainstorming or advice. So the researchers warned that even non-personal work-related use can lead to emotional dependence if the usage becomes excessive. Sorry, I just read that story and I'm thinking, could this be me? No, I'm fine. In a significant move, OpenAI has restructured its leadership team. CEO Sam Altman will now focus more on the company's technical direction, emphasizing research and product development, while Brad Lightcap, the chief operating officer, has expanded his role to oversee day-to-day operations, international growth, and key partnerships with tech giants like Microsoft and Apple. Additionally, Mark Chen has been promoted to chief research officer, and Julia Villagra has been appointed as chief people officer. These changes come amid OpenAI's transition from a nonprofit to a for-profit entity, a move that has attracted both attention and raised some controversy within the tech community. At the same time, X, formerly known as Twitter, is experiencing its own leadership upheavals. Haofeng Wang, the director of engineering, has abruptly departed from the company. Wang, who joined X in July 2021, played a pivotal role as a liaison between Elon Musk and the engineering team. His exit coincides with Musk's increased focus on other ventures, including XAI, and his involvement in political activities. Despite Wang's departure, X continues to pursue ambitious projects such as the development of the X Money payments platform, and has recently secured a valuation of $44 billion, which matches the price that Musk paid for Twitter in 2022. Personally, I'd like to dig a little more into that, but I guess Elon Musk's political activities are paying some dividends. Google's DeepMind has launched Gemini 2.5 Pro, a new version of its AI model built to handle complex reasoning, answer long-form questions, and even write code. The model is now available to Gemini advanced users in Google AI Studio, with plans to roll it out on Vertex AI, Google's machine learning AI platform, in the immediate future. Gemini 2.5 Pro scored among the highest on several technical tests, including the AIM math exam and the GPQA science benchmark. It also ranked first on the LM Arena. Now, LM Arena, for those who don't know, is a live community-driven evaluation where anonymous LLMs are compared side by side and rated by human evaluators. In software tasks, the model scored 63.8% on the SWE Bench Verified, a benchmark that checks if an AI can solve real issues from GitHub. And Google says Gemini 2.5 Pro can now build working web apps from a single prompt and do more advanced code changes than earlier versions. Behind the scenes, Google claims that the model is also faster and more memory efficient, and it says this will help reduce wait times for responses as the model is used in apps and cloud services. While it will take some time to get the full reaction of users, and full disclosure, we haven't tested it out in real-world settings, the early indications are that Gemini 2.5 puts Google back in serious contention with the other leading frontier models. More than half of Canada's provincial and territorial governments utilize Starlink, the satellite internet service owned by Elon Musk's SpaceX, for essential communications in remote areas. And those who know Canada know we have a lot of remote areas with small populations over a huge landmass. And for many of us, Starlink was a big deal, offering us at least acceptable speeds in remote locations. This dependence, though, is now under scrutiny due to political tensions and concerns over national sovereignty. In fact, in response to U.S. tariffs imposed by President Donald Trump and Elon Musk's support of those, Ontario Premier Doug Ford announced the cancellation of a $100 million contract with Starlink intended to provide high-speed internet to 15,000 remote households. Ford said that Ontario won't do business with people hell-bent on destroying our economy. But in addition to Musk's political comments with regard to Canadian sovereignty, he also mused about cutting off Starlink services to Canada in retaliation for slights like Tesla accessories being removed from eligibility for government subsidies. These comments have caused other governments to look at their exposure with Starlink. The Canadian press found that Crown corporations or governments in 4 provinces and 3 territories had agreements with Starlink to provide communication in remote areas, some of which were essential for emergency services. The territory of Nunavut and the province of Manitoba have contracts with Starlink to provide service in remote areas. The Northwest Territories uses Starlink on an as-needed basis for emergency and backup systems. Provinces Alberta and Nova Scotia don't have formal agreements with Starlink, but offer subsidies for those using the service to provide internet in remote areas. Starlink is also a popular choice for Canadians living in remote and rural areas. The number of users has grown from about 300,000 homes in 2023 to approximately 500,000 today. And while Ontario says their contract with Starlink has been ripped up, all other provinces and territories state that they are actively re-examining their alternatives and looking for what they're calling a Team Canada approach. Dwayne Winsick, a professor at Carleton University, has emphasized the need for Canada to reduce reliance on Starlink, stating, "Cutting contracts is one approach, but there are also some made-in-Canada alternatives that can be accelerated." There are some land and cellular-based alternatives, but in Canada's remote locations, satellite solutions may be the only realistic alternative. One alternative to Starlink comes from an existing European satellite system, although so far, in tests, this is reported to have not performed up to the level of Starlink services. They simply don't have enough satellites. And there is a new low-altitude satellite system in development by the Canadian firm Telesat, but that won't be fully available until 2027. Whether any new solutions can be found or the existing solutions can be accelerated or improved will be a key issue to solving the problem of Canada's dependence on internet services that exist at the whim of an increasingly mercurial billionaire. And that's our show. Love to hear what you think. You can reach me at editorial@technewsday.com or in the comments of your YouTube video. That is, as long as my Starlink service stays up. I'm your host, Jim Love. Have a wonderful Wednesday.